In 1844, a young man was dragged into Bethlem Royal Hospital, the infamous asylum known to the world as Bedlam. He would not leave for 43 years. The doctors diagnosed him as incurably insane. The courts had declared him a patricide, a man who had murdered his own father. But in the suffocating darkness of that madhouse, he created some of the most hauntingly beautiful paintings the world has ever seen. Here's the intriguing story of Richard Dadd, a fascinating figure with a wild life, a story of genius, of demons, and of art born in the deepest abyss of the human mind. Richard Dadd was born in 1817 in Chatham, England, a town of shipyards, sailors, and gray skies. But from an early age, there was nothing ordinary about him. His teachers recognized something rare in him. By 20, he had already signed up at the Royal Academy of Arts in London, one of the best art schools around. His drawing skills were amazing, and his imagination knew no bounds. He was the shining star of a group of young artists called the Clique. They were rebellious and ambitious, convinced they'd change British art. Richard Dadd was their brightest spark. Critics praised him, collectors pursued him. The world of art wanted him. At just 25, he received an offer most artists could only dream of. It was the opportunity of a lifetime, but it would also be his undoing. A wealthy patron, Sir Thomas Phillips, invited him on a grand tour, a journey through Europe and the Middle East. In July 1842, Dadd set sail with Sir Thomas Phillips. They traveled through Belgium, Germany, Austria. They crossed into Greece and Turkey, and finally, Egypt. At first, Dadd was enchanted. He sketched temples, pyramids, the endless dunes of the Sahara. His letters home were filled with wonder. But somewhere along the Nile, everything took a wild turn, and things got real. He began to suffer from sunstroke, or so it seemed. He became withdrawn, irritable, paranoid. He stopped sleeping. He told his companions that he was receiving messages from the god Osiris, the ancient Egyptian lord of the dead. Osiris, he believed, had chosen him, marked him for a sacred mission, and all around him, Dadd began to see enemies. Demons in human form, servants of darkness, disguised as friends, as strangers, as family. By the time the party reached Rome, Sir Thomas Phillips was alarmed. Dadd's behavior had become erratic, even violent. He cut the trip short. In the spring of 1843, Richard Dadd came back to England after a wild adventure. But the man who came home was no longer the man who had left, and Dadd's family saw the change immediately. His father, Robert, a respected chemist, tried desperately to help. Doctors were consulted. But in the 1840s, there was no understanding of what we now call schizophrenia, no treatment, no name for the demons consuming his son's mind. On the evening of August 28, 1843, Robert Dadd took his son for a walk in Cobham Park, just outside London. He hoped the fresh air, the quiet of nature, might soothe Richard's troubled spirit. It was the last walk he would ever take. Richard Dadd stabbed his father to death with a knife he had concealed in his coat. Later, he would explain calmly, without remorse, that his father was not his father at all. He was the devil, and Osiris had commanded Richard to destroy him. After the murder, Dadd fled to France. He was arrested after attacking a stranger with a razor, still believing himself on a divine mission. He was extradited to England and committed to Bethlem Hospital. Bedlam. The very name had become a synonym for chaos, for madness, for horror. For centuries, it had been a place where the mentally ill were chained, beaten, displayed like animals to paying visitors. By the time Dadd showed up, things were changing. And in this unexpected spot, Richard Dadd discovered something amazing. He found peace. The doctors, recognizing his talent, gave him paints, brushes, canvas, and for the next 20 years, in a small cell lit by gaslight and candle, Dadd painted. Not usual portraits of lords and ladies or calm English landscapes, but entire worlds filled with fairies, goblins, and magical forests. Every leaf, every blade of grass, and every face in a bustling crowd was captured with jaw-dropping detail. His most famous work, The Fairy Feller's Masterstroke, took him 9 years to complete. Look at it closely. Every inch bursts with life, bearded figures, tiny dancers, and bizarre creatures, all frozen in time. You could gaze at this painting for hours, always discovering new faces and secrets. It's pure madness and absolute genius. In 1864, Dad was transferred to Broadmoor, a new asylum for the criminally insane. He kept painting, never stopping, but his fame had faded. The art world had moved on, and the young prodigy who once wowed London was now just another forgotten soul in a mental institution. On January 7, 1886, Richard Dad died. He was 68 years old. He had spent over 40 years behind asylum walls. He never expressed remorse for killing his father. To the end, he believed he had done what the gods demanded. For decades after his death, his paintings gathered dust in hospital storerooms, dismissed as the curiosities of a lunatic. But in the 20th century, the world rediscovered Richard Dad. Today, The Fairy Feller's Masterstroke hangs in the Tate Britain, one of the museum's most beloved works. His paintings sell for millions. His story has inspired songs, novels, films. Richard Dad was a murderer. He was, by every clinical measure, insane. And yet, in the depths of that madness, he found something. A door to another world. A world only he could see. A world he spent 40 years trying to capture on canvas. Perhaps genius and madness are not opposites. Perhaps they are neighbors, separated by the thinnest of walls. And sometimes the cracks between them let in a terrible, beautiful light. Thank you for watching, dear art lovers. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave us your comments. We look forward to seeing you here on the Synthetic Oracle channel for more fantastic stories.